Looking at dating and thinking, okay, right, I'm thinking about going and dating, but I don't know when to. Maybe like it is a chronic thing, and I've like this is going to be part of my life, or I'm on the other side of this and I'm still figuring things out. Oh, what like
when do we
bring it up? Like, is it, you were talking about having something aside from having the relationship on the side from the cancer, and
and I think that the thing is, we all have had a life generally when we meet people. Okay. And when we meet people as we get older, we've had more of a life. Now life might include all sorts of things. It might include, divorce, kids, whatever. It might include cancer treatments. And I know it's difficult when you're in cancer because it feels like that's the most overwhelming thing that has happened to you. And it is a big thing. I'm not trying to undermine it, but it is another part of your life story to this point.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you were on, a date with somebody and it was just a first date, would you tell them your entire life story? Probably not.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think it's the same with, cancer diagnosis. You don't need to tell everybody every minute of every day. You don't have to wear it like a flag necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay, it depends on how you feel and how it feels authentic to you. But as I always think with generally with relationships, we date people and there comes a point, which is usually after about 2 or 3 months, where we're kind of going, okay, is this person going to be more of a person in my life? Are they not? And you may have had moments where you have shared part of your life by then, and it may feel right to tell them about the cancer at that point, that's fine. But otherwise, you'll find that there is a point at which actually now I need to let you know some things, and because I'm now feeling emotionally attached to you, it's important that you know from my point of view. And you have those conversations as if you were having conversations just like anything in your life, really.
And is that about not putting, it's so easy to say this, but not putting the pressure of that this isn't something, that this is going to be okay, that this conversation is going to happen, and checking in with yourself before and
visualise it. Think about what you want to say.
Right.
Think about how you're going to say it. Think about when to say it.
Yes.
Be in control of it as much as you can. We can't control their reaction, but we can control how we feel about it. But there will come a point but you don't need to say it first date. You can get to know somebody, and you'll get to know pretty quickly whether you can, when you want to say something, and when you feel it's important to say something. That's the most important thing, is checking with yourself. Is it important for me to say this now?
Yes. I guess as well, one of those things with when you're meeting up with similar young people, you can share those kind of those tips as well. You can have those kind of moments, and going back to kind of like the kind of dating world and things, and when we're thinking about communicating with those people, what happens if we're communicating things that have happened to us during our treatment? So if we're communicating that like this hair isn't my normal hair, or that I'm my leg was amputated, or fertility things, like
they're difficult. It's difficult, So because it's naive to think that we can necessarily walk away from a cancer diagnosis and treatment without there being any sort of residual problems that might be there, that might impact. But again, it sounds glib, but if you're with the right person, these things are not going to matter that much, or they will matter because they are important, but they're, in the overall thing, the right person will be able to work through it with you.
Yes.
When do you mention them again? I wouldn't mention them to begin with. I mean, I think the fertility issue is a really difficult one.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things that when you are meeting somebody, it's an important. I mean, when you think about the future, it's one of those things that from cradle we're thought to expect as part of the process of meeting and getting married and having kids. It's the next thing. But if we can't do that, how do we manage that conversation? I think it is very difficult. But then there's lots of people again who can't have kids for lots of reasons. Sometimes we never find out why couples can't have children. So whilst yes, it is an important thing to get to know and get your head around, and I would say in terms of dating, again, it's one of those things, again, you don't need to mention it at first date, but when you feel that if you meet somebody and you feel, actually this is somebody I could be with, is to talk about, what the future is. There comes a point with most couples when you're dating that you do talk a little bit about future.
Yeah.
And it may be at that point say, well, actually, I don't want to have kids. I can't have kids. So it's one of the, which is hard to say, and I think it's this thing of it's hard to acknowledge with yourself sometimes, rather than but it is important to put it out there. Now you can't control how somebody else is going to respond to that, or what you have to acknowledge that's going to be something that they have to think about as well, and that they have to hear, and that they have to have a response to. But with the right person, that person will go, okay, all right, there are other options. There are things we can do. And adopt, we can do those things. There are other things we can work around, So it is that thing of you don't have to wear these things on your sleeve to begin with, but you do also have to acknowledge them as part of you and your future.
Yes, yeah.
It's hard. They're hard conversations.
Well, that's it, and I think that's what it keeps coming back to, that element of conversations that are difficult to do, and sometimes you can shy away from them. I expect that's a.
And I think yes, I would. When you find it's again this internal dialogue, watching when you're avoiding something because you're scared, which we all do. It's a natural response, but avoiding having that conversation because we're scared. Avoiding it doesn't make it actually easier. Avoiding it makes it actually worse.
Yes.
Because it just increases the fear. And often people can surprise us by hearing things better than we expect them to.
Yes.
We can't hide it. If it's a fact, it's a fact.